everybody. Welcome to Homestead. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to the new Wichita temple that's just been announced. I can't believe that actually happened. I can't believe it. And then on top of that, oh my god. Okay, so on top of the Wichita temple, the Barcelona mission is the mission that I served in. So there's going to be a temple in the mission that I served in. I thought that it would be forever until Spain got another temple. But now there's going to be a Barcelona temple. And then on top of that, there's an Austin temple. And that's where that would have been my temple at Fort Hood. It only would have been like about an hour away, maybe a little bit over an hour. So it's like these places that I used to live that have great significance to me are getting temples. A little bit late, but I'm very happy that they're getting their temples. And then we got that Tampa temple. Betty Horn said, I think I saw her say earlier that it's like only, second comment, only an hour away. Congratulations, Betty Horn. Congratulations. I know that somebody else in the previous chat was I think hoping for one in Austin. I can't remember. There are so many like Texas people. But I can't handle it. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to get on that website that I was on before, so I can like look at the temples across the world and see like their different status, but it's like crashed because everyone's trying to get on it. But on the Google on Google's there's like you can do like a Google search for like Google LDS temples, and like there's like a separate map so you can see where all the temples are, but I think it's only the ones that are currently constructed. I'm not sure. Oh my gosh, how it's so crazy. I can't. This like feels surreal. I feel like I'm like in a fantasy right now. I'm gonna change the color of my light. It's a little bit too. Yeah, let's go with that. It's all the way up. Oh my gosh. So, okay, I'm going to go over the list of temples again. This is on the church newsroom, just in case you missed it or you didn't quite hear the whole list. So we have Wellington, New Zealand. Man, I really wish I had that other site up so I could see the status of all the different temples. But Wellington, New Zealand, I think that's going to be their second temple. According to the Google Maps thing, they have one right now in Hamilton. So New Zealand is going to have two as of right now. Let's see what else. We got Brazzaville, Congo. So we got another African temple, and it looks like the Congo is just like blowing up with as far as like the church goes. Let's see, we got Republic of the Congo and then Democratic Republic of the Congo, and this is going to be Republic of the Congo. I think someone. Okay, let me see here. So these pins on this Google map that I'm looking at, they do have different colors. There's not like a legend, but it looks like someone has already put the Brazzaville temple on here. Have they done Wichita yet? I didn't see that. No. Okay, well, anyway, so we got Brazzaville in the Republic of the Congo. We got Barcelona, Spain, which that blows my mind that there's going to be a temple in Barcelona, Spain. Spain is going to now join the Two Temple Club. It'll have as far as like European countries go. So Spain will have two temples. We have Germany that has two temples. And then the United Kingdom, they are going to have three temples because that's the next one on the list. It's the Birmingham United Kingdom. And that's kind of like in the center of the country. So unfortunately, still nothing for Northern Ireland or Ireland. But now the UK, they're going to have that. We have Cusco, Peru. And let's see, Peru. Let's see, Peru. There's Arequipa. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So from what I can tell, it looks like Peru is going to have 4 total. I really wish that this website would come back up. Is it going to? No. Oh my gosh. Okay. Then we have 2 coming to Brazil. That's one of our countries that have more than 1 million members outside of the United States. So we have 2 for Brazil. The first one is in Maceió, and then the second one is in Santos. And then we have 2 coming to Mexico, which is another one of our countries that have more than 1 million members. The first one is San Luis Potosi, and then another one is going to be Mexico City, Benemerito. So now Mexico City is going to have 2 temples because it already had that one. It was like one of the earlier temples in the church. So yeah, Mexico City. It'll have 2, so that's pretty exciting. We got the Tampa, Florida temple. Tampa has on this map they have 3 right now. We got what?
You said Tampa has 3.
Oh, sorry, Florida, but my bad. Florida has 3. So now it's going to have 4, as far as I can tell from this map that I'm looking at. We got the Knoxville, Tennessee. Weren't we talking about Tennessee in the last stream? I swear we were talking about Tennessee, and I can't remember if we were specifically talking about Knoxville. But as of right now, Tennessee already has Nashville and Memphis, and now they're going to have a Knoxville temple. Let's see, Cleveland, Ohio. That one's interesting because the Cleveland, Ohio temple, that's going to be the closest temple to the Kirtland temple. So as the Kansas City temple is to the temple lot, the Cleveland, Ohio temple is going to be to the Kirtland temple. So that's kind of interesting. And up until this point, Ohio already had one in Columbus, Ohio. So now they will have 2 temples that belong to us. And then there's the Kirtland temple, which hopefully we can get back at some point in the future, sooner than later. Okay. And then Wichita, Kansas. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it actually happened. And then Austin, Texas, which for Texas, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So this will be the 6th for Texas. And this is, it's kind of like the last major city in Texas to receive a temple. Well, I guess you could include El Paso, but just right across the border, there's the Ciudad Juarez temple. So I don't know if people from El Paso typically cross the border to go to that temple, but whatever. So Austin is kind of basically the last major city in Texas to receive a temple. And again, this is the one that I would have gone to when I was at Fort Hood. It would have been pretty close. And then we got Missoula, Montana. And Montana, how many do they have? This map shows 2, so this will be a 3rd one. And Missoula is somewhat close. It's pretty close to Idaho, so it'll service probably some people in Idaho, maybe. Okay, and then we got Montpelier, Idaho. Okay, so Idaho is getting a new one. I do not know where Montpelier is. I feel like I've heard of it before. Oh, okay, there it is. It's in the very southeast corner of the state. So it's kind of oh, hey, Haystack. This is gonna be close to you because it's relatively close to Malad, but it looks like it's still kind of further than the Logan Temple, from what I can see, but at least you'll have another one that's kind of in your vicinity. So yeah, so this is kind of like the Preston area. Napoleon Dynamite. This would be his. This would, well, no, I'm not sure it would be his temple. It looks like he would still go down to the Logan, but okay, and then the last one, Modesto, California. So California is getting another temple, and they already have quite a few, but it just attests to the fact of like how many um, members there are in California. I've heard of Modesto before. I do not know exactly where it is. Let me look this up on the Modesto, California. Um, okay, this is like in it's like south of Stockton. It's kind of like southeast of Stockton in Sacramento. It's like it's almost like in the middle of the state. It's not too far from Fresno. It's also somewhat close to San Jose. So, hey, we didn't get a San Jose temple, but Modesto, that's not bad, right? Let's see if this website is back up yet. Just for some more information, but nope, not yet. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a dream come true. I hope it doesn't take long to construct. I don't know how long temple constructions typically last, but okay, I'm going to just start at the top of the chat, which began before I came on here. But Green Tree says, "You got your temple." Yep. And Betty Horn says, "Woohoo! Tampa's only an hour away." How nice is that going to be? Having a temple only an hour away. Green Tree, good for you. Sherry Johnson, I thought that too. Wow, 17 more temples. And yeah, there's that number again, 17. And it's brought the total number of temples that President Nelson has announced to 100, right? Because before this point, it was 83. So now we're at 100. 100 temples that he's announced. Okay, 100 temples. If we look at temple chronology, let's see, the LDS temple chronology. I think I already know the answer to this, but let me just pull this up if I can. Maybe I'll have to go to Wikipedia. List of temples. Where does it? Okay, it numbers it starting with the St. George Temple. Okay, that's all I was thinking about. So, okay, think about this. Let's pick the year. No, I'm gonna go by. Okay, does it say Okay, I'll go by the dedication date. So, okay, let's look at 1986. Okay, we had the Buenos Aires, Argentina temple that was dedicated by Thomas S. Monson. And at that time in 1986, we had a grand total of 39 temples. 39 temples in 1986. Let me go to the 100th temple, which I want to say, I'm not going to guess. I'm going to look like an idiot. Okay, the 100th temple was the Boston, Massachusetts temple. It was dedicated October 1st, 2000. So October 1st, 2000, we had 100 temples. And now, within just a few years, there have been 100 temples announced. 100 temples announced. Holy cow. That is so crazy. Okay, let me get back to the chat. So, let's see. Sig Chris, congrats on Wichita Temple. Thank you. Betty Horn and a temple in Tampa. Yes. GMC Concord. I missed President Nelson in his last talk. What did he say? Obviously, 17 more temples. Where are they all at? Well, hopefully you're around with me, just barely going over that list. Betty Horn, Tampa, and Wichita are two. Brenda Christensen. Church News just published an article listing them all. and that's what we were just looking at. I just posted the link. Brenda Christensen, President Nelson said there are a lot of things out of our control, but we can control how we spend our time each day. And I feel like that's a thing. That's something that I've heard a couple times now from him, that we can't, our circumstances, or like our environment. There's like things that are outside of control, but we need to focus on the things that we can control. So, okay, GMC Concord. Wow, I just read an article that said President Nelson has announced 100 temples since becoming prophet. Yep. Now, I think the most temples announced at one time, I think it was like 20 temples. Let me see if I can find that. Let's see. Nelson announced record-breaking number of temples. I swear that there was like he announced 20 one time, and that was like the most. Anyway, I can't find it. I'll have to find that some other time. Okay, SH. Wow, you got your wish. Clap, 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 clap. Yeah, it's so surreal to me right now. I really thought that I thought in my heart of hearts, or I felt in my heart of hearts, that like it was gonna be a while before it happened. Another California temple. Yes, GMAA. Congrats. Thank you. Sherry Ware. So happy for you. Thank you. James C. Hoping for a West Metro Phoenix. Probably surprise next conference. Yes. And that's another place that I lived. I lived in Surprise for a while before I joined the Army. And when we came back, we moved to Goodyear, and that west part of the valley. It seems like there's a lot of members there, just from what I can tell. So it'd be great if there was like a temple, either in Surprise, maybe in Buckeye, like up in Verrado, which is part of Buckeye, but it's like it's almost like a little city within a city. Or Goodyear. Goodyear would be a good place. Maybe up in Estrella Mountain Ranch, which is part of Goodyear. It's a nice area. Denise Kyle, so very happy for you guys. Lots of smiley faces, thumbs ups, and clappings. Teresa Washington, Betty, is Tampa somewhere close to where you were hoping? Denise Kyle, I was shouting out for you guys. Thank you. Betty Horn, Fort Myers is about as far south as Tampa is north of us. I wasn't even thinking about Tampa when I said that. Tampa makes more sense because of population. Florida will have 4 temples. Sherry Johnson, Church News has a list up. Sam Lee, can you share your screen? No, because I'm just using like the basic YouTube live stream. I don't. You can get like a separate program or app. I haven't gotten to that point in my YouTube adventure that I'm on right now. But probably a lot of this stuff will end up on the screen in like future videos as we kind of digest what happened in conference and review everything. So, okay. Okay, Angie Lloyd, Montpelier is by Bear Lake. Yeah, I am from Grace, which might be in that temple district. We are so excited. I'll bet you are. That's so cool. Let's Get Prepared says, I am so near Austin. I am so excited. Called my sister, my son, etc. Love our conference. Yep. Good. Congratulations. That is awesome. Denise Kyle, thanks to your family for sharing your time with all of us. Of course, James C. If they used the modular building method, like they are with Helena, we could expect the dedication of the Wichita Temple before 2024. Yeah, I guess we'll see. I just hope it's a nice temple. On the outside. I don't want it to look basic. I don't know. I'm sure all temples are beautiful. I just hope it's like a really good looking temple. Uh, let's see, Benny Horn, Angie Lloyd. I lived in Logan, love Bear Lake, and I love Bear Lake too. That is a fun place to go. It is fun and it is beautiful. Oh my gosh. Calm down. Calm down. Let's see if that other website's back up. It's called Church of Jesus Christ Temples.org. It's not a church website, but they do a really good job at keeping track of everything. No, it's still not up, still down. Too much traffic, I'm assuming. Okay. Um, uh, something popped up. It says the website will return shortly. and for right now, redirects you to the church website. Yeah, but I'm sure that they encounter that just about every conference whenever a temple is announced. So I'm going to go back here to the church article. Where to go? So it's amazing. It's amazing that we're getting two more um, European temples, and then we got the one that's going to Africa in Republic of the Congo, and then we have one going to New Zealand. So in that part of the world, the Australia, Oceania, however you want to think of it. We got South America with Peru and Brazil. We got Central America going on with Mexico, but whatever. North America, basically every continent is getting a new temple, from this time, with the exception of Asia. There's no Asian temples this time around, and yeah, okay. Whew. Okay, well, what did everybody notice from conference? What do you feel like the theme was this time? What do you think the theme was this time? Sam Lee says, "What a time to be alive." So, in my opinion, I don't know. It feels like it was kind of a little bit more like the previous session. It didn't seem like there was a whole lot of temple work talk so much. If anything, you'd probably if you were to classify the overall tone, it would probably be more of like perfecting the saints, becoming a Zion people. Um, did anything stand out to anybody? Let me see what I got. I'm not going to go over the hymns because nothing really stood out. I don't think. Okay, President Oaks, he went over. He brought up the two great commandments. That's something that comes up time and time again recently over the last, I don't know, last several conferences. Um, he talked a lot about the different degrees of glory, and just kind of like going over that again. And it's like he wanted us to kind of change our perspective, or really understand how it really works, and make sure that we look at things the right way. Um, and this is kind of, I don't know, this is kind of, we talk a lot about the second coming on this channel. That's kind of the point of this channel, is to watch for the signs of the times. And we've talked about what's going to happen during the millennium. If you're living a telestial law, it's the end of the road. You're not moving into the millennium. And I just wonder, one thing that kind of came to mind for me during his talk, when he was talking about that, is whenever we go through this event, you don't want afterwards for people to think about those that didn't come with us, and think like, oh, they were like, uh, have like the strict like heaven hell type view of things. That even though they're living a telestial law, um, we do know from Revelation that the telestial glory that they will inherit in the end is so much better than what we have right now in the fallen condition of the world. So I don't know. Does that make sense to you, or did anyone else think that? Um, let's see. he talked about, and then he pointed out that Elder Cook had talked about it too. Elder Cook also talked about, he was the one that talked about how the celestial kingdom is so much better. So that's like two times that concept was brought up in this conference. But yeah, the multiplicity of kingdoms, and that kingdoms have been prepared uh, by the Lord for our Heavenly Father's children to inherit after this life, even if it's not the celestial kingdom, which is obviously the goal, what everyone should be striving for. Um, but there are those other kingdoms. And then he started talking about how gender is an essential characteristic, both premortally and in our immortal life, and then uh, beyond. And then he talked about the family proclamation and brought that up. Any thoughts on his talk? Okay, let's see. Teresa Washington, I kept hearing eternal life repeated like they're preparing us for it. Yeah, I think they really are. Because basically, if everyone here in this chat right now, if we all make it to the second coming, well, we're not going to experience death, are we? We're going to have like a changing, in the twinkling of an eye. Well, first we're going to be translated, and then we're going to live to whatever point once it's your time. And then instead of dying the traditional way, you're going to be changed in the twinkling of an eye and just go straight into eternal life, into immortality. So, yeah, that's a good thought. Denise Kyle, missionary talk / teaching. Okay, living the dream conference made me want to go to the temple. Um, though especially Elder Uchtdorf and President Nelson. Well, good. Act on that. Go to the temple. There's a lot of work that needs to be done before the second coming, so that uh, those who accept the gospel, so that they can go ahead and get resurrected as soon as their work is done. Teresa Washington also heard a lot about pressing forward. Yeah, I did too. In fact, wasn't that one of the hymns? Um, I'm so like disoriented right now from the temple announcements. Like I can't even. Uh, I swear we sung "Press Forward." Was that the last hymn? Um, okay, but anyway, yeah, a lot of press forward talk. It really feels like this is the final push. Missionaries, saints, this is it. But that could be wrong. But that's what it kind of feels like. Denise Kyle, mission. Okay, wait, no, sorry. Betty Horn, how firm a foundation. We never sing the last three verses, but they definitely need to be looked at. How firm a foundation.
Yeah, that's true. They're really good verses.
Really?
Yeah.
What do I not have it up?
Did you not go over those when?
I don't know. I was this session threw me for a loop. Kind of. Let's see. How firm foundation. Okay. Oh, I think that, yeah, I think I remember going over this in the last session, but let me read what was it, the last couple verses? Is that what you said? Let's see, the last three verses. Okay, how firm a foundation, we never sing the last three verses, but they definitely need to be looked at. So this is what they say. This is what the last three verses say. When through fiery trials, that's what we're going through, isn't it? Thy pathway shall lie. My grace all sufficient shall be thy supply. The flame shall not hurt thee. And you can look at that in one context, that the actual flame, the cleansing of the earth, will not hurt thee. I only design the dross to consume, thy dross to consume, thy dross to consume, and thy gold refine. Even down to old age, all my people shall prove my sovereign, eternal, unchangeable love. And then, when gray hair shall their temples adorn, like lambs they still, like lambs they still, like lambs they still in my bosom be born. And then verse 7, the souls the soul that on Jesus hath leaned for repose, I cannot desert to his foes. That soul, though all hell should endeavor to shake, I'll never, no never, I'll never, no never. Oh yeah, this is part. I'll never, no never, no never forsake. Yes, that is good. Okay. Benny Horn. The first talk was on temple work. Denise Kyle. I felt like I was going through the discussions again, but this time learning how to teach others. Mrs. Chef Yoda. Sorry I'm late. How dare you? Just kidding. Wow, I was wrong on the theme. Yeah, I think we all kind of were. It was kind of I don't know. I don't know how you would classify it. Benny Horn loved how the family proclamation is once again called doctrine. Yeah, it was good that he brought that up. Mrs. Chef Yoda, you will finally get your temple in Kansas. Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy about that. Benny Horn, Press Forward Saints. Uh, Zybarth, they they will sometimes skip verses 4 and 5 and go to verse 6. GMC Concord. It seems like that slowly over time they're trying to herd us to shifting our mindset to becoming more of one heart and one mind. Yeah, I would agree with that. Sam Lee at Betty Horn. Why don't we sing the last verses? Zybarth. I think Press Forward Saints was sung at the end of the first session yesterday. Betty Horn, because no one wants to sing 7 verses. Uh, yeah, that is a long time. GMC Concord, loving and serving others, making a stronger connection to God, spending more time with Him, gathering others in, temple work, obedience, repentance, keeping covenants, discussing freedom. Zybarth, Elder Jorg Klebengat is from Ukraine. His talk was awesome. That's another one I can tell you right now. That's another one that I'm going to choose for Elders Quorum when I teach Elders Quorum. It was amazing. It was all about, you know, just like the different worldly philosophies that they're trying to push on everybody that basically excuse everything, that there is no wrong. And his talk, oh my gosh, it was maybe one of the best talks I've ever heard. Seriously. In fact, let me go straight to his. These are the notes I took. He said, inconvenient truths are often dismissed by the world, right? Inconvenient truths about right and wrong. Mocking and scorn come from the eat, drink, and be merry crowd. There's the philosophy of just a few stripes because, but everything's going to be fine because God loves you so much that He'll excuse whatever you're doing. Good being called evil and evil good. Whosoever will profess me before men, I will profess before the Father. Crowds, right? We were talking, within these last few streaming sessions about how there's a danger of wanting to be part of the crowd or blend into the crowd to be accepted socially. So he says here, crowds cannot make right what God has made wrong. We can love others without endorsing their beliefs. And that's like something that I feel like confuses a lot of people, or maybe they're kind of like bullied into. It's like if you really love me, then you will, come do this, or you'll come to my that, or whatever. He said Zion and Babylon are not compatible. Um, he this is the second time that somebody quoted this. He quoted President Nelson saying, the Lord will perform some of his mightiest works between now and when he comes again. That's at least the second time it's come up this conference. It may have even been 3 times, but 2 for sure. Blessed is he that should not be offended in me. There are a lot of people that, they're offended by the Lord, or they don't stand up for the Lord. Some say that there are no moral absolutes, meaning that no matter what, there is always right and wrong. He said, beware of wolves in sheep's clothing. He talked about how the first presidency and 12 have become lightning rods of those that, are worldly, that don't like what they have to say. He talked about how scripture is not for private interpretation. And we do tend to see that. So it's like there's things in the scriptures, certain things that may not be incredibly clear, or things that are more, I guess the best word would be esoteric. Things like stuff like the 10 lost tribes, or where is the center place of Zion going to be? There's that kind of stuff that people debate about and whatever. That's not what he's talking about. He's talking about the things that morally, the principles that morally guide us, the gospel of Jesus Christ, the principles of right and wrong, gender, things like that. It's not up for private interpretation. And just like anything, it doesn't matter if you're studying the more technical things of the kingdom that don't really matter, like kolob, or things like that, or whether you're studying the really spiritually nourishing things. You should always stick to church sources first. Listen to what the prophet says. Read church manuals, read Sunday school manuals, really study Come Follow Me, read church magazines, go back and watch old conference talks. Do that first. But some people just have the tendency to like look at the world first, or give a lot of heed to what the world is saying. And just like Elder Bednar said, we should heed not what the world may say, right? So, okay, what else did he say? Their words. Okay, talking about the the first presidency and the apostles, their words should be received as if from the Lord himself. Unfortunately, there's people on a variety. I'm not talking about any one issue. On a variety of different issues that want to say things like, "Oh, well, they're just men," or they're a product of their time because they're so old. So that's the mindset that they're in. No. Treat their words as if it's from the Lord himself, because it is. That's the point of them, and of the organization of the church, having a first presidency, 12 apostles, so on and so forth. He said, don't be fooled or imitated by the large and spacious building. Gotta be careful that don't let people shame you into doing wrong things, or shame you into complacency or not standing up. Don't give into that stuff. And then true disciples of Jesus Christ are willing to stand up, speak out, and be different from the world. And again, that should of course be in a spirit of meekness. That doesn't mean go to like different people's YouTube channels and be like, you're wrong. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. And then do a whole rant about, why they're wrong. That's not the way to do it. It's being a good example. Sometimes you can stand up and like you can discuss things without making it a fight. Contention is of the devil. We know that. So that was his talk. Those are the notes that I took from his talk, and I thought it was pretty darn amazing. Let me see what we're saying here. Let's see. Okay, Green Tree says her favorite talk too. Jorg. Jorg must be like the equivalent of Jorge in George in German. It says that on his thing, I know someone said that he's from Ukraine. Although originally, where is it? It looks like he was born in Zweibrücken, Germany. So he received both a Bachelor of Arts degree in Russian and a master's degree of something in BYU. So I don't know exactly where he's lived, but that's where he was born. So okay, let's see. Zybarth, cool. GMC Concord, repentance, keeping covenants, discussing freedom, trying to prepare us for the future, and having a strong enough faith to endure hard things to come. It seemed like maybe there's some persecution to come. Yeah. Yeah, it's happening now. It's probably just going to intensify as the world becomes more and more comfortable with straying from the commandments and morality. They're always wanting to push the limits. Denise Kyle says, I wonder if this talk was a similar to a chiasmus. I can't wait to study them. So is there a reason why you thought that it was a chiasmus? Like, was there something that kind of stood out to you? Okay, GMC Concord, we would definitely need to be spiritually strong for that. I really liked Oak's talk. Yes, I did too. It's good to say warm and fuzzy things, but sometimes we also need to say the harder things too. Yeah, because if we don't, then we start living in a fantasy world, essentially. Zybarth says, yes. Teresa Lane, he was born in Germany, served in Ukraine. Okay. Lisa Brault, I got to go to the last session in person. It was wonderful. Oh, cool. So you're in the Salt Lake area. Everyone, if you haven't already, or even if you have, let me know where you're from in the chat. I'm a geography person. I like to know these things. So if you don't mind, put where you're from in the chat. Zybarth, sorry, I just knew he had a Ukrainian connection. Living the dream. Elder Oaks put to rest any rumors that the church might reconsider same-sex marriage too. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. Ongoing restoration. Too many members are leaving over past offenses and negative experiences. I was glad to hear talks about peacemakers and ending personal conflicts. The gathering includes bringing members back. Yeah, that's true. And let's all remember the challenge that between now and Easter to find some conflict in your life that you can squash, like that you can stop, that you can put to rest in the interest of peace. Betty Horn, ongoing restoration. Hi, I agree. Teresa Washington, Ulysses Soares said in warning us against apathy about the Nephites who became less astonished less astonished by the signs that had been given at Christ's birth. Let's not be apathetic to what we've seen either. Yeah, he didn't just say that for no reason. Okay. It's all about, some of it I think is about being desensitized. Again, whether it's by movies or even if it doesn't have anything to do with movies, maybe it's just like there starts to be so many things happening that's just like, this is no big deal. This has happened before, and it just becomes the norm. But just because it does become the norm, and these disasters and things have become the norm since probably about 2020, that doesn't mean that they're not signs. They don't leave their sign status just because they continue or pick up in their frequency. Zybarth, yes, the gathering is about everyone making and keeping covenants. If they stop keeping covenants at some point, they can still resume keeping them at some point. Betty Horn, Teresa Washington, yes, we cannot afford to be apathetic. Zybarth, I think his name might be pronounced Horg. Okay. Is that why it has like the double, like the two dots above the O? Is that what you do? I missed the moment where his name was pronounced today. Matthew Hessler, 17 temples announced. This is so great. Cleveland, my wife is rejoicing. Didn't you bring up the number 17 in one of your recent videos? I've brought it up in a few videos because it keeps coming up. I don't I don't understand. I don't know if it means something, but it's like coming up very frequently. President Nelson is the 17th president of the church. The Relief Society president right now, I can't remember her name, but she's the 17th Relief Society president. Which now I haven't like noticed. I don't know if like they typically get released or called when there's like a new prophet or something like that. Probably not, but whatever the case, she's the 17th. And now, and then we've talked a lot about the year 2017, which it seems like that was kind of a beginning of things because of the eclipse that went over New Jerusalem, over the path of totality, went over Independence, Missouri. And then there's all this stuff associated with that. There were a lot of things that happened that year. Um, this year, Easter and the Jewish Feast of First Fruits, which Easter is basically like the Christian observance or celebrating of first fruits. They're both on the 17th this year. And this also happens to be a Shemitah year, which only happens every 7 years. Uh, I don't know. There's a lot of 17. And then when you go to the general authorities social media accounts, and of course it's not their personal accounts, it's their official accounts, but they're following 17 people. They're following each other, and then they're following like the Tabernacle Choir, and then like the official church website or church account. And I think that's it, or maybe one other. But yeah, a lot of 17s. I don't know if it means something. I am aware of the 17 phenomena that was happening around the time of Trump. I'm aware of that. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. A lot of 17s. So, in the fact that because the fact that these 17 bring the total to 100, it just makes me wonder, was that like intentional? Because you would think no, they would just put out temples as soon as possible when the need arises. But in this case, it seems like it was almost intentional that by this general conference there would be 100. It just works out too perfectly. So leave your opinion about that if you have any ideas on that. Sherry Ware, Vegas. Um, we got GM Concord in Indiana. Um, oh yeah, Indiana has a temple in Indianapolis, huh? Matthew Hessler, Mesa, Arizona. I miss that area. I miss Mesa. Um, Kevin Kentrell, Myrtle Creek, Oregon. Uh, I don't know what
Fist
that.
bump?
Oh, fist bump. Sarasota, Florida, just south of Tampa, for Betty Horn. Teresa Lane is in Chesapeake, Virginia. Sam Lee is in Houston. Green Tree, not much mention of the Second Coming. Yeah, no, not so much in this session. Denise Kyle, it's the repetition style. Chiasmus concepts are repeated in reverse order. Yeah, I know. I know what that is. In fact, I did a video where so President Nelson's, I think it was his first 5 conferences as prophet. The first conference, I could be a little bit off with the conferences, but if I remember right, the first conference he spoke 5 times, and then the next conference he spoke 4 times, and then the next conference he spoke 3 times, and then after that 4, and then 5. And the very middle talk was titled "Come Follow Me," and that's the talk. Okay, so if he was intentionally or maybe even unintentionally, if like he was like being inspired without being aware of it, um, that talk, the "Come Follow Me" talk, would have been the middle of the chiasmus structure. If you're like looking at number of times that he spoke, and in that talk, that's the one where he said time is running out at the end. And he also included this kind of like this visual of the paradise fire in California, which obviously that's almost like a foreshadowing kind of story of the world when it gets burned. So intentional or not, it happened, and it follows that kind of pattern in a way. Weird, um, but probably something to pay attention to. Sherry Johnson, currently McKinney, Texas. Chris Wright, northeast of England, the county of Lincolnshire. Oh, cool! I didn't know that you were there. All right, so we have at least, if you're from another country, please say, because that I don't know if Aritz is in here, but we do have a Spaniard that frequents the channel. We also have a German, a Swede. There's actually a few British people that have popped up from time to time. Um, Denise Kyle, sorry, the whole conference was repeated, it seems. Okay, ongoing restoration. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. It was good to see another temple announced in Tennessee. Yeah, but you guys already there is one in Nashville though, right? I'm looking at the map right now. Yeah, there is. It's basically outside of Nashville, just like a lot of them are. But yeah, yeah. So you'll have to go and check out the Knoxville temple when it opens. Let's see if that other website is up yet, or if it's still crashed. Looks like it's still down. I wonder how long it's going to be down. Okay. Let's see. Me. The prophet seemed very somber, almost sad, like he is burdened with what's to come, or that his time is short. They sang they sang the song he wrote and stood as he left the first session. Well, and that's typical. You always stand up when the prophet comes in the room or when he leaves.
But I noticed that in the last talk, he seemed sad. I didn't notice that. He
Really?
smiled at the end of it, but when he was giving his talk, I was like, oh, he seems a little sad.
Wow. Did anybody else in the chat? Did anybody else pick up on that? I'm telling you, as soon as I heard the Wichita Temple announced, my brain left. Like it was, everything was just out the door. Um, I'm still kind of like recovering from it. But that's an interesting observation. Now, one thing that I would say in term as far as like him having how much time he has left, I think most of you would probably agree he is looking pretty good right now still for his age. If I were to gauge it, I feel like he at least has another conference and probably more. He seems pretty incredible for his age. Um, but it could happen. I don't know. Again, if he makes it to his next birthday in September, he will break the record for the oldest apostle or prophet of all time. No one will have ever been older than him if he makes it. So we're in an interesting time as far as his lifespan goes. Um, so okay, me, you have a lovely channel. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, me. GMC Concord. Yes, I worked there for 3 years. It's lovely. Uh, I remember when they announced it prior to what we had to go to. Prior to that, we had to go to the Louisville, Kentucky temple. I worked there for 5 years. Denise Kyle, 17 means the restoration in the biblical sense. Now, where's that coming from though? Because I'm careful whenever, because like if that comes from like another, like some like Bible website like biblestudy.org or something like that, then I would maybe take that with a grain of salt, unless they can like pin it down to, like, oh, in ancient Jewish tradition, this is how they viewed the number 17. Or so I'd like to dig down on that and see where that idea comes from. Greg, the appliance guru, Fort Worth, Texas. Okay, very good. I really wonder how many people from Texas watch this channel. It seems like there's a lot. I know that there's been like repeats here, but like with that in mind, it still seems like there's a lot. Denise Kyle, I looked it up just now. Sam Lee at me. I got the same feeling from him. Okay, so Sam Lee also noticed a sadness of the prophet. So if that is what was happening, if there was a sadness, if it wasn't like just being tired, and I'm sure that that's not the case. If he was genuinely sad, why why do you think that was? This is all just pure speculation, but it's okay to discuss things. Just, do you have any thoughts on that? Um, Green Tree, I noticed the apostles kind of serious, almost sad, standing up at the very end. Are you serious? I, I, I wonder if something's going on. Teresa Lane, yes, I noticed his countenance was sad. What the heck? Chris Wright, don't you think with all the time it takes to build and complete all these temples, keeps pushing further back the second coming? I don't think so, because so it seems like the temples are going to survive. I don't really have a clear idea of what exactly is going to happen to the earth at the second coming, because you have some language in the scriptures that talks about mountains being made low and valleys made high. So, and we know that there's going to be a great earthquake that's going to be like a worldwide earthquake. I know that the Salt Lake Temple is intended to last through the millennium. And so if the Salt Lake Temple is, and they're also trying to make the other Pioneer era temples that way, and maybe they're all made to be that way, it would seem that the temples are meant to survive through the millennium. And so when the second coming happens, um, you know, at some point, once the population is restored, or once we have enough craftsmen and construction workers, then maybe those temples would resume, or maybe the Lord would bring some kind of miraculous way of completing those temples. But with like with mountains being made low, uh, valleys made high, I don't know if that's just figurative or if it's literal. But if that's happening, then something pretty drastic must be happening to the earth. And you have to wonder what kind of effect that would have on temples. And and also, if you think about the New Jerusalem, I don't tend to think that it is a gigantic cube. One reason is because if it does come down and land on the American continent, what happens to all the structures and infrastructure and houses and stuff that are underneath the New Jerusalem? But if that does actually happen, if I'm wrong and there will be a gigantic cube, then it'll be interesting to see what happens to those temples when it comes. So I don't really know, but I tend to think that just temple construction is just going to continue. They're going to announce it. Uh, it's been brought up a couple times how the prophet. Okay, so that how the Lord is not going to do anything until He reveals it to the prophet, and that was brought up last conference. In the Joseph Smith translation was uh, cited, saying to make it, which makes it clear that the Lord really will not do anything until He reveals it to the prophet. We've also found that quote from Joseph Smith that says that when it says that no man can know the day or the hour, that's not true. He was talking to the people at that time. It's probably true for most everybody, but I think the prophet will generally know um, when it's going to happen. And so, if he knows when it's going to happen, I'm sure that he would just keep, just like Aritz said, like in the previous stream, he's just going to keep probably doing things the same way. We're still going to be doing business the way that we normally would um, until it happens, right? With the exception of like things like, these obvious pushes for missionary work, temple work, building more temples, hastening the work, dropping all these clues that the second coming is close. But I think that in general, temple building is probably just going to continue uh, unaffected by the second coming. So I don't know. Uh, um, where are we at? Okay, Zybarth. I think he has all sorts of things on his mind. Well, yeah. How can you not when you're when you're the prophet of the world? Um, Mrs. Chef Yoda, my heart sank when our state wasn't announced. I'm so bummed. Where are you at again? Are you the one? You're the one that's in South Dakota, if I remember right. Sherry Johnson. I was touched by the story of the great grandfather coming into the valley with the sheep in October instead of July. In that not everyone will come in first group, but will come. Yeah, yeah, I like that too, and yeah, that's how things go. Teresa Lane, you know who is who is looking good is Elder Uchtdorf. Yeah, he is. Um, Miss Chef Yoda at Sherry Johnson. That was a great story. I really like that one. Mrs. Chef Yoda, I found this, but we'll look more into LDS sources. In the Bible, the number 17 symbolizes overcoming the enemy and complete victory. I would be pretty ecstatic if that is the case. If that ties back to some sort of like Jewish interpretation or just anything that would be authoritative rather than just like, well, I want to look into it more. Denise Kyle, he seemed to have tears in the beginning of the last session. He looked up and had a very touching look on his face. Now, yeah, that is something that he's actually been doing this whole conference. It seems like every time that the camera has gone on him, he's been doing a lot of looking up. And there's those people out there that are like, no, he's just looking up at the balcony. He's looking up at the teleprompter. No, no, he's not. When you watch the whole surrounding footage, he's like, doing little glances up. Sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter, but he has heaven on the mind. Um, Matthew Hessler, I noticed a lot of purple themed in this conference. Yes, if you haven't seen the other streams that I've done a stream for each session. Uh, well, we noticed that actually the church profile picture on their social media, it changed to purple last week. And hold on. For the footage of Temple Square outside, they were showing purple flowers. The flowers in the background. Uh, Someone said that they were showing like a purple, like shining down a purple light on the flowers, which I'm not sure if that's true because I was looking at it after I saw that comment, and some of the leaves and stuff that had like lighter areas were still green. So I don't know if there was a light or if there wasn't, but whatever the case, there was purple on the foliage behind the speaker. And then many people were wearing purple. Not everybody, but that's something I was actually keeping track of for not this session. I kind of gave up on that, but especially it seemed like the first couple sessions there was a lot of purple between ties and then blouses and dresses and stuff like that. So I don't know what that means. If it means anything, it could just be, hey, the church is kind of doing a purple thing right now with the profile picture, and just that's kind of what we're doing. Or it may have some kind of meaning. I don't know. But it is something to note, if nothing else. Zybarth, maybe he was sad conference was ending. It could be. Teresa Lane, interesting because I was kind of sad afterwards too, and I don't know why. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I was not sad though. I was very happy, and I'm still very happy. After I'm done with this stream, me and my wife are going to go for a little drive, talk about conference, just kind of relax. It's been kind of like an intense couple days for me because basically the last 24 hours has been nothing but streaming and and general conference. Oh, my life is so okay. Okay, where were we? Janet Carlson. The hymn, We Thank Thee, O God, for a Prophet, isn't what we think it is. It only has a couple of lines about the prophet. It is a prayer to God. I guess you can look at it as a second coming song. Uh, do I have it up? No. And you know what? I'm not going to pull it up because I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit out of energy. Um, I'm basically in a state of like catharsis right now after the temple announcements. It's okay. Janet Carlson, many of the temples may not be built till the millennium. Could be. Yeah. Efrain Gutierrez, I feel like the prophet would know if something is going to happen soon. Oh, I guarantee that he would. I've had the thought for a while. If war broke out and it gets bad, we might not have a conference in October, right? I don't know about that. You know, I don't know the history of conference. I now I'm starting to. I don't know if I'm like having a false memory. I don't know if there was a time it was canceled because I think that they still had it during World War II. Does anybody know if conference has ever been canceled? Um, I would tend to think that it would continue unless there's like some crazy, crazy war that involves the invasion of the United States, which I'm personally not one to like be of that frame of mind. I think that invading the United States would be exceedingly difficult to do. Just because we have two huge oceans on either side. You'd have to probably have the help of Canada or Mexico or the Caribbean islands so that you can stage your operations from there in the initial parts of the invasion. Uh, Not saying that it can't happen, but I just feel like it'd be unlikely. If there's like nuclear war, well, that would make things kind of hard. But I don't think that the Lord would allow the church leadership to be destroyed. I don't think that's part of the plan between now and the millennium. So, um, Efrain Gutierrez or okay, no, Green Tree. The prophet never know. Okay, the prophet never knows if this is his last general conference. I think he's expecting his time to go anytime now. It could be. I don't know. Again, I tend to think that he definitely looks really good for his age. Um, and only he knows how he actually like feels every day. So, it could be maybe I don't know. Sam Lee, President Nelson breaking a bunch of records during his time. Yes, he is. He definitely is. Zybarth, yes, canceled for Spanish flu. Okay. But not for war, right? Not for World War II. Janet Carlson, conference canceled during the Spanish flu. Um, Zybarth, I mean, I'd have to verify, but I think that was the case. Well, postponed. Sam Lee, if they lost power to the building, probably would be canceled. Yeah. Yeah, so, if there's like some kind of event that knocks out the power, whether it's a man-made event or a natural event. Okay, Zybarth from April to June, from April to June 2018. GMC Concord, GC has General Conference has been held every year since 1830, with two exceptions: 1848 because of the exodus from Nauvoo. Well, I guess that's an okay reason. Second was October 1957 because of Asian flu. Oh, and then he corrects it and says 1846, not 1848, because yeah, the days of 47. So, Gary H. His 5 points were to prepare us to speak with the Lord face to face. I did not think about that.
What'd she say?
His five. Now, was that? Are you talking about? I still have my notes up from the other set. Are you talking about another session? Yeah, yesterday he had 5 points. Okay, so this is what Gary H thinks. He says that these 5 points are to prepare us to speak with the Lord face to face. Okay, number one, get on the covenant path and stay there. Number two, discover the joy of daily repentance. 3, learn about God and how he works. Which after that, he talks about distinguishing between God and the counterfeits of the Lord in the gospel. He talked about Moses and how he was able to discern between God and Satan, which is interesting because he didn't, during that part, he didn't actually say what Moses learned exactly, but in Come Follow Me, because it goes over this story, what you find out is that Moses is able to distinguish between God and Satan because it has to do with glory. When the Lord's glory came upon Moses, he had to be transfigured. But he was able just to see Satan in the natural man, like Satan had no glory. So it's interesting that he brings that up. That hey, when you're in the presence of the Lord, there has to be a change that comes on your body. Otherwise, you're going to die. You're going to be destroyed. Okay, so so number one, get on the covenant path and stay there. Number two, discover the joy of daily repentance. Number three, learn about God and how he works. Number four, seek and expect miracles, which is interesting. And then number five, strive to end conflict in your personal life. And you do that by exercising humility. And this is where he does the challenge to everybody to find a conflict in your life and overcome it, resolve it, put it to bed, whatever.
By the 17th.
By the 17th. By the 17th, because that's when Easter and first fruits is on the 17th. There was one interesting thing he said. I think it was in this. I actually think it was in this last talk of his. He mentioned the fact that I think he said 2 weeks from today. What did he say? Maybe he was talking about Easter, but let me pull up my Hebrew calendar. Sorry, you won't be able to see it, but you don't really need to. Let me go to my folder here. General references. Where the heck is it? Where is it? I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, fine. I'll do it the hard way. Fine. That's fine. Cal. Okay, here we go.
That was the hard way.
if you're lazy, yes. Okay, so General Conference started yesterday, Saturday the 2nd, and exactly 2 weeks, 2 weeks from that, you have the first day of Pesach. You have Pesach 1, which is, the Passover week or the Feast of Unleavened Bread, basically. So it's interesting. There's like that 2-week delay. And conference, excuse me, conference started on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, which is the first day of the month of Nisan. So this conference, on top of being in a Shemitah year, on top of having the Passover week be start on the same day as with the same as the week that Christ got crucified. Conference is also starting on the first day of Nisan, and then exactly 2 weeks later is the Passover week, which it actually begins at sundown on Friday, but you would kind of like consider the first day Saturday. So it's just an interesting kind of like correspondence there. So that's just something to kind of think about. Okay. GMC Concord. I'm a she. Laugh out loud. Sorry. I'm sorry. It's Kim. Okay. I'll remember that. Sherry Johnson, your wife deserves the attention. Yeah, I think you're right. She does. Like, I think she's talking about, I need to give my attention to you right now.
Oh. Thanks.
Well, I am pretty tired. Let me just see if there's anything else. I'm not going to go over all the talks. If you want to get anything in, do it now. If you have anything that you want to share or say, put it in the chat now. Let me just do a quick overview and see if there was any other kind of big things. I feel like a lot of them they've like brought up, even if it wasn't like the subject of their talk, many of them brought up the fact that we're living in tumultuous times or perilous times, or we're living in times of commotion. Uh, I feel like the majority of them, probably, I don't know, 60% of the talks brought that up at some point, maybe more. I'm not sure. Oh, I'm looking. I'm looking at the wrong session. Oh, jeez. It was interesting that we had the Nigerian. His name is. Uh, uh, okay, I'll get this. Adinka A. Ojediran. Okay, he's from Nigeria, and in Africa, Nigeria is the powerhouse of the church. The church is big in Nigeria. Let's see, Mark L. Pace, Elder Soares. Did anybody notice anything or have any thoughts on Elder Soares' talk? Or, I guess any other talks? Yeah, he's the one. Okay, so he's the one that Teresa Washington was talking about, where after Christ's birth, the Nephites were less and less astonished by the signs of the times. So that seems to be a direct warning to us to not do that, to learn from that mistake, even though they may be frequent and they may not be that, even if they aren't record breaking things every single time. Just the fact that we're having all these things happen so frequently, I feel like is a sign in itself. Whether it's wildfires, earthquakes, dust storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, volcanoes, asteroids, we should probably view them in the proper context as signs that we're getting close. It was interesting. Elder Uchtdorf brought up consecration. We know that consecration is going to play a big role during the millennium. We're going to be living the law of consecration, right? And he points out that consecrating is not the same as sacrificing, where you put something on an altar and then it gets consumed and it's just for the sake of doing a ritual. He talks about how consecrating is like when you hand something over from yourself to be used for something good, to be used for the Lord's purposes. So maybe they want to kind of get us in that frame of mind and just realize what consecration is, because we're probably going to be living it even more fully in the millennium. Okay, let's see. Stormy Holmes, congrats on your new temple. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot wait to see the rendering. I can't. And I think about the possibilities. Like I wish that I was like involved in maybe some of the design, like on the inside, just like the details. I hope that they incorporate wheat, images of wheat, maybe around the baptismal font, or just things that have to do with Kansas. I know that whatever happens, they'll do a good job. I'm gonna guess that it's probably gonna be like a single spire temple, most likely. It seems like now this might not be true at all, but it just seems like places with a little bit more significance tend to have like the double spire. That may not always be true, but I'll be huh?
Can we do sunflowers on the stained glass?
Oh yeah, it does. Sunflowers. Yeah. I hope it incorporates sunflowers. I love sunflowers. You may think it's the silliest thing, but that's like one of the reasons why we moved here, because we kind of took it as like a little bit of a sign. My wife, her favorite flower has always been sunflowers. From all the way back forever. That's like one of the first things I even learned about her when I was going to the singles ward. That's where we met. We would go to her. She was living in her grandma's basement, and there was like sunflower stuff. So it's always been like a symbol kind of our marriage. And so first we thought about Texas, and then after that we were thinking about Missouri, and then when we started thinking about Kansas, like there was like the sunflower imagery and stuff, and uh, it was just a little thing that kind of pushed us to the Kansas side, and I think the Lord, He works that way sometimes. Um, okay. GMC Concord, no worries. I thought it was funny. Zybarth, Gary H's point is interesting because there's a breakoff group that says the church doesn't teach that. What was Gary G's point? Oh, about speaking with the Lord face to face. Really? That's weird. I can't. I'm not. I'm not. I don't like the little breakaway groups. I don't. Not that I don't like them, but it's just like, come on, stay in the mainstream of the church. Betty Horn, perhaps that's why we need to stay in the boat. Zybarth, yes, or yep. Mrs. Chef Yoda, I love that part about consecrating. Yeah. And it's like, you can obviously live it now, and we should be living it. Give of your time, your talents to the Lord. Whatever it is that you're good at. Everyone is individual. They all have different gifts and talents. Like find yours, see how you can further the work of the kingdom with what you've been given. GMC Concord, our state flower. Oh wait. Oh, sorry, Denise, Kyle. Thanks so much. Rest well. Do appreciate you both. Thank you. Zybar, thanks, Jared. GMC Concord, our state flower is a tulip, and things related to Indiana were put into our temple all over. Yeah, our state flower, the tulip, was put into our temple everywhere. Yes, I hope we see a lot of sunflowers. I know. Matthew Hessler, Brother Olson does those great 3D rendering videos when the church releases a rendering. Cool. Who's brother? Do I know Brother Olson? Who's Brother Olson? Sherry Ware, thanks for the thanks for the platform to discuss the conference in real time. I live alone, so this is great. Yeah, I think that this has been pretty fun too. This seems to be my life now, so I assume that I'll be doing this every conference. So if you like this, then I guess you can look forward to it next time. Zybarth, my wife's favorite color is purple with a purple circle. GMC Concord, into the furniture, the rugs, the stained glass. Awesome. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for the Wichita Temple. It has to include sunflowers. Mrs. Chef Yoda, that's how the adversary works, divide and conquer. Zybarth, stay on the good ship, Zion. Betty Horn, appreciate all your time and effort. See you the next time. Bye, everyone. Mrs. Chef Yoda, good night, Betty. Yes. Good night, everybody. This was an amazing conference. I know that you all enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was really intense, even before the temples were announced. Like, there's definitely an intensity. I feel like that was there that we haven't really seen in other conferences so much. So this really, it did turn out to be, I think, a pretty special conference. And from here we'll just move forward. We'll keep an eye on church news and see how things progress and what happens, and we'll look for the signs of the times in nature, in politics, in war, everything that you can possibly think of. And hopefully sooner than later, we'll be able to be translated and move at the speed of thought, and then and see each other and meet each other. Okay. That's going to be it for this one. So I'll continue doing my videos tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing one about if you were here for like one of the first streams, I talked about I have this video coming out where I did the whole like overlay of Jerusalem and Salt Lake and turning Salt Lake upside down and then overlaying them just to kind of compare the areas. And I have like 3 versions of the map. So one where it's like zoomed in on like the metro area, and then another one that's kind of zoomed out and seeing like, you know, if Utah was, for example, Jerusalem, where would the Babylon where would the Babylon and the Persia be in the you know, the Salt Lake context, and then zoomed out even more, and where would the Rome be? And I think there are a couple interesting things to point out. So I'll probably be doing that video tomorrow. So stay tuned. Okay, that's it. Thank you, everybody. I'll talk to you next time. Have a good rest of your Sabbath.